what is happening in Asia and around the world, and the world in relation to Asia. The most important news this week, of course, is the visit of President Duterte to China. And for our nation, the opening of the Scarborough or the Panatag Shoals, with the help of President Duterte's discussions with the Chinese leaders. And so that's a very happy event. But before that, we'd like to follow through a report that we made last week, because in the Philippines, they've been talking about Duterte's human rights issues, and they will bring it to the International Criminal Court. Well, we reported last week that African countries are already withdrawing from the ICC and accusing the ICC of being a white man's court against those that do not follow them. Last week, we read that South Africa begins processing their withdrawal from the ICC. And this week, it is now followed by Gambia. Gambia has announced that it will withdraw from the International Criminal Court, the third African country to declare its departure in 2 weeks. So we expect more to follow in the coming weeks.
One of the judges who criticized President Duterte was from Gambia, the lady.
So this is very important, because let us not be fooled by we're not against the West, but there are institutions there that are not helpful to the rest of the world. Okay, so that's the first news item. And the second news item, before we go to our main news, because often they say China and Vietnam are at odds, and then that the Philippines, the US, and Vietnam will come together against China. Of course, President Duterte said China, Russia, and the Philippines against the world. I think he was just waxing sentimental, like you and me against the world. No?
Next is Malaysia joining China.
That's right, Malaysia. But this item is about the Chinese warship to dock, or has docked in 3 Chinese warships have been invited and have visited a friendship visit to Vietnam's ports. So there is no truth to this idea that Vietnam and China will be engaged in conflict. So that's the second item. And finally, let's go to our main news. Of course, I'd like the inputs of our guests. Scarborough Shoals, or the Panatag Shoals, is now open for fishing again by our Filipino fishermen. It's a very happy news, and I think the past administration was the one that caused the problem of this tension in the area. But now that it has opened, what can you say, Mr. Lim?
Actually, Herman, when President Duterte came into power, this administration, since we have a 180 degrees turn towards China, China has been very happy. And in fact, I know that deep inside already, China is going to allow our fishermen to fish in the Panatag shore, even earlier. But of course, every time we are talking about Panatag shore, I mean, some of our government people will always say that, of course, they should allow us because of this tribunal. But China would never recognize this tribunal, so they would not really openly invite us to fish there. But look what happened after the Duterte's visit, and then our fishermen began going there, and then you cannot see any Chinese patrol boats or whatever driving us away. So practically, I think they're allowing us to fish there already. I think that's a very nice gesture.
That's a good development, Wilson.
Yes, that has made the whole situation normal. And the good thing is, before everybody were fishing there, it was only the problem before. And the good thing about Duterte's diplomacy, it's not only normalizing Philippines and China relation, it has made the whole ASEAN region more peaceful.
Yes.
That's a great achievement of our leader now.
Yeah. I think President Duterte understands the complete picture, because the arbitration was just a small event in 1,000 years history of the relations with the two countries and of the China Sea, South China Sea, North China Sea. In other words, this sea is a common traditional fishing ground for Filipinos, Chinese. When there was no Philippine Republic yet, the people of these islands were fishing there. So were people of Malaysia,
before
Vietnam,
the Westerners came.
Before the Westerners came, And even before Magellan came in 1571 or what, I forget
yes,
now.
1521.
1521, well, we are celebrating the 599th year today.
Yes,
Next
yes.
year, 600th year of the travel of the Sultan of Sulu to China
We
in
treat to
1417,
400 we treat
almost
to
100 years
yes.
before Magellan came. And before the travel of the Sultan of Sulu,
Yes.
in the year 1000, more or less,
Yes. There was another
the
king.
Raja killing
Yes.
of the Kingdom of Butuan
Yes,
in
I heard.
Mindanao also sent mission to China already. So this is just a dot in the history, this arbitration.
More than 1,000 years of
Yeah.
harmonious history.
That's right. And so we are just bringing back the common understanding and fraternal relations of the countries around the South China Sea and the East China Sea and so on. Now, I think what is important, and you can share, and you will share some information here, is that not only is the Panatag Shoal or Scarborough Shoal open,
Yes.
but the Chinese market is
Yes.
open.
The biggest on
Bananas are back in business.
Pineapples.
And their
Mangoes.
Ambassador Zhao was encouraging us to plant dragon fruit.
You have to put up hotels also, Mr. Lim and Mr. Laurel.
I cannot afford
Oo,
Mr. Lim.
the ambassador of China said in Kamuning Bakery
Yeah.
recently, he said minimum double of
the tourists from
minimum,
half a million
Yes.
to 1 million.
By next year, it'll be 1 million. And then I think
Maybe more.
we can even grow even to 4
So
or 5 million.
we need more hotels
Yes, and
in the
resorts.
provinces and resorts.
This is good for the ordinary
And we
small
need more
businesses.
bakeries.
Yes, yes, sell more
By
pandesal.
the way, do you know
Yeah.
that I was just talking to the Department of Tourism yesterday. Do you know that there is going to be a maiden flight again from Guangzhou directly to Lawak, no?
Lawak in Ilocos.
Twice
direct
a week,
flight.
and then another one from Guangzhou also to Clark, also twice a week, no?
Wow.
So we are opening up more
Yeah.
between China and the Philippines, no? And this is a very good, very
And
good
then
sign,
tourism business is the biggest
yeah.
cash
Yes.
business.
And pro-poor.
Yeah.
Pro-poor.
Because the waiters earn,
The tricycle driver,
tricycle drivers,
the fishermen,
jeepney
the
drivers,
market.
yeah.
And don't forget, what Duterte has done is made the brand name Philippines popular in China, again.
China, yeah. And although
Yes.
I'm always worried that if you have a million tourists, there'll be one or two
Yes.
who may be unruly,
Oh,
and
problems,
so
yes.
we should be prepared in
Yes,
media to
yes.
explain that,
And not exaggerate
not
small
exaggerate.
incidents.
Oo.
Yes.
So, what about rice? It's opening up. We'll continue later, but
yes.
in this portion, we're talking about opening up. Will there be
But-
bigger market for rice?
No, just a small incident.
Yeah.
What happened? When we are coming back from Beijing, no, I mean, just going through the immigration,
Yes.
we were very courteously. Oh, you're with the delegates of. I mean, they are so happy. I mean, never time that when you're from Philippines. No,
Okay.
So this are
So
the things.
this
there's
is when you were
euphoria,
going
no?
to Beijing.
No, we are returning back.
Ah,
already.
returning
Yeah,
already.
returning back
Okay,
to-
okay.
They are so courteous with.
Yes.
us,
Very
So the
Yes,
reception of
reception,
our
yeah.
officials here
Yeah.
in customs, immigration, so
Yes,
on was
yes,
very,
yeah.
very friendly.
Yes. Friendlier than I thought.
Now we can compete with our neighbors.
That's right.
Thailand
that's
has
right.
8 million tourists a year from China.
Vietnam has, I think, 1.5 million
From China.
from China.
So we
when
will compete.
we are only at 500,000 the
Yes.
past year.
Even Japan has millions of China
I
tourists
think Japan has 4 or 5 million.
a year.
a year.
It's for Japan, for this long holiday.
Yes.
October 1 to 6.
Yes.
400,000 went to Japan already. For just one,
Just one weekend.
One weekend.
Just one
1,000.
weekend.
And I think the average expenditure of
Yes.
each day of the Chinese tourist is $1,000 US.
Yes, yes.
Maybe 2-3 days only.
Amazing.
So if you have 500,000, that's $5 billion.
Half a billion dollars.
$500 million. Ano?
And if you double, that's $1 billion.
That's right. That's
And it's
right.
not only for the elite big companies. It goes down to
In
the
fact-
rural
in
poor.
fact, that's the biggest earner of Thailand. I think
Yeah.
we are going to compete with Thailand because I think
Yes.
Thailand, I think 7 million.
we have more beaches.
Yeah.
And we are happier than Thailand.
happier
And they are
people.
in mourning 1 year.
Oh.
They are in mourning 1 year. So good timing.
Tsaka we speak English.
English,
naman.
yeah. So communicate.
Yes.
Now, talking about tourism, I am told by Celso Inglet
Yes.
that Spain earns more from tourism
Yes.
than Saudi Arabia earns from oil
Even France.
per annum.
Even France.
Yeah, that's right. Well, we've run out of time for this segment on the news and views. Remember, the happy news this week is Scarborough is open, but not
Yes.
only Scarborough. The
Economy.
1.3 billion market,
1.4 na daw, I heard.
1.4 billion market, which will go on for the next century
The largest market,
in the world.
Do you
Yes.
know-
Herman,
Yeah.
For Scarborough, for this one,
Yeah.
it's not only open for fishing now, but I think a joint exploration of that
That's right,
area
that's
is
right.
also very
Good
certain
idea.
now.
And
Win-win.
what about tourism in the Scarborough?
Also,
Di ba?
okay.
And the South China Sea. So, untold potentials. Okay, let's take this break, and finally, we'll discuss the main topic with our two guests. Okay, let's go on to our break.
Yesterday, I read